Just going to talk about caffeine for a minute or two. Um, Everybody knows about caffeine. It's one of the most common ingredients in supplements these days. It's in fat burners, pre-workout supplements, cognitive function supplements, testosterone boosters even. And there's good reason. It mediates all of its effects through the central nervous system, and from there, all of the specific effects to your mind and body originate. So, one of the most important things to note about caffeine, though, is that it has an insurmountable tolerance, and that means that once you become used to the effects or tolerant to its effects, and they no longer work, no amount of caffeine will break through that barrier. So you won't be able to increase the dosage simply to get more effect. Now, one of the ways to combat that is how you use caffeine. And the first way to use caffeine is to be sparing with it, or use caffeine sparingly. Now, that means that if you drink caffeine every day in the form of coffee, 2 or 3 cups a day, then you're already probably tolerant to its effects. You've already developed a tolerance level, and that's called habitual use of caffeine. And if you drink coffee every day, 365 days a year, you basically lost all of the benefits from caffeine. So the first thing to do is stop consuming any other form or source of caffeine. That includes coffee, unfortunately, and only take your supplement for whatever your goal is for weight loss or energy boost or focus, etc., etc. So only use your supplement. And the second way to use caffeine is to cycle it, so that you can every once in a while reset your body's tolerance level to zero, and you can restart and avail of the benefits once again. So a good cycle of caffeine would be 8 weeks, maybe even 12 weeks for some people. But you'll get a good idea once you've done a couple of cycles as to how long it's effective for you, because caffeine has that instant sort of effect to especially on a mental level. So try an 8-week cycle, and if you're still getting decent effects after 8 weeks, then push it to 12. Now, instead of coming off caffeine for the 2 weeks off cycle straight away, cold turkey, that's not a good idea. It's best to probably reduce your dosage over the course of a few days, even up to a week, until you're taking negligible amounts, and then come completely off caffeine for 2 weeks. This makes you once again caffeine naive, and you can start taking it after that 2 weeks, either at the level you were before or ease your way back into it. But don't take too long to ease your way back into it, because again, you sort of lose the effect by building up slowly. You want the impact of a decent dose. And now that I've mentioned dose, a good idea to start with is probably 100 milligrams a day of caffeine, and slowly build up to maybe 200, 250. A lot of the supplements that you buy these days don't give you much of a choice, because you have a dosage inside the capsule or inside the drink powder, and you have an amount per day to take. But most of them will be in and around at least the 100 milligram mark a day. Now, if you take that there and you feel okay, then you can probably up it to even around 300, 350. That's probably the limit I would say is the ceiling, as it were. Above that, you're probably bound to have some kind of side effects, whether it's nausea, headaches, jitters, all that kind of stuff. So keep it around the 100 milligram mark a day to start with, then up it to maybe 250, and see how you go. Leave the coffee alone, and cycle it every 8 weeks or 12 weeks, and you should be set. One of the final things to mention is, again, side effects is probably the upper limit is 500 milligrams a day. So never go above that, and certainly don't do it on a regular basis. Thanks very much.